So it is always an exciting day here when we're featuring a brand that hasn't appeared on the channel before, and it's also a trail running shoe that I have never run in, as well as being a shoe that you guys have been asking for some time for me to test and review. So it is the Tomir from NNormal, and this is the latest version, the Tomir 2.0. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. I'll give you a few facts and figures about this latest version of the Tomir, and then I'm going to be lacing them up and taking them for their first run around the beautiful Tehidy Woods here in Cornwall. And obviously I'm going to be bringing you guys along with me. Thanks for tuning in again, folks, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope you are all fit and well out there in the world of YouTube. So finally, we've done it. We've got a pair of trail shoes to test out from Kilian's brand, NNormal. About time, I hear you all cry. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but finally we've got a pair. Now, just before we dive into the video and the Tomir 2.0, I thought I'd give you a quick backstory about the NNormal brand, how they came about and what they're trying to achieve in the trail running industry. Firstly, I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of Spanish trail running legend Kilian Jornet, but if you've been living under a rock for the last 15 or 16 years, I'll just give you a bit of context to why he is considered to be one of the best trail runners and endurance athletes of all time. So he was born back on the 27th of October in 1987 in Catalonia, Spain, and he spent a lot of his early years growing up in a refuge, so a mountain hut at 2,000 meters. His dad was a mountain guide and his mother was a good skier, so he had a pretty good start in life. Kilian showed early signs for his love and passion for the mountains, actually climbing his first 3,000 meter summit at the age of only 3. And yes, I said the age of 3 and first 3,000 meter summit in the first sentence, which kind of blows my mind, but it gets better from here. So 3 years later, at the age of 6, he climbed his first 4,000 meter mountain on the Swiss and Italy borders. And then in 1999, he started ski mountaineering and went on to represent the Spanish national ski mountaineering team for the first time in 2007 and actually ended up winning several world championships. Not content with just competing in ski mountaineering, Kilian thought he would try his hand at a bit of trail running and actually ended up winning the 2007, the 2008 and the 2009 Buff Skyrunner World Series. So not a bad start, and since then he's gone on to win and set records at pretty much every major trail and ultra distance race around the world, including the incredible Zigama, the beautiful Transvolcania, the historical Western States, the brutal Hard Rock and the amazing UTMB, just to name a few. But it doesn't stop there, because this incredible athlete was also hatching some plans for the Summits of His Life project. This was where Kilian was going to attempt to break the ascent and descent records at some of the major mountains around the world, including Mount Kilimanjaro, Mont Blanc. We also had the Matterhorn, Denali, Elbrus. We also had Aconcagua, and then last but not least, the highest summit in the world, Everest. So you can see what I mean by Kilian is a very special athlete, and I think he's going to go down in history as one of the best endurance athletes of all time when he decides to hang up his skis and his trail running shoes, although he doesn't show any signs of slowing down, having just taken another victory at Zigama the other week. Kilian ran for Salomon's elite trail running team for many years, and he was a huge driving force behind the brand's popularity, and he had a lot of input when it came to design and development of new products. A few years ago, Kilian and Salomon parted company on good terms, and Kilian joined forces with shoe manufacturer Camper based in Mallorca, and the NNormal brand was born. Kilian and Camper actually shared very similar values, and they wanted to develop products that were going to inspire people to respect and enjoy nature through getting out there and having fun doing outdoor activities. They also wanted to try and avoid overconsumption by producing products that were super durable and they were going to hold up to the test of time, so leaving a lesser sort of impact on the environment, hence the NNormal tagline, "Your path, no trace." Right, so there it is, a brief backstory about the man himself, Kilian, and how the NNormal brand came about. But let's get back to the shoes in question, and I'll give you a bit of info about the new Tomir 2.0. So they retail in the UK for £150, so quite an expensive trail running shoe, but if they are as durable as the brand says they are, then not a bad price really. Weight wise, my pair in a UK 9.5 tip the scales at 306 grams, and they run off an 8mm heel offset. If I flip them over, you can see we've got this very bright green, aggressively lugged outsole design, so a 5mm lug in depth, and it's been clad in Vibrams super sticky Mega Grip light base rubber. So outsole performance should be pretty good. The upper design comes with some unique features. So firstly, the fabric the NNormal have chosen to use is a blend of monofilament, polyester and TPE, just to make it super durable and abrasion resistant. And sort of touching and feeling that upper, it does feel like it's going to be really hard wearing. We've got some craft stitching connecting the midsole to the upper, and I'm not sure I've ever seen that on a running shoe, but again, it's another design feature to try and make the Tomir 2.0 as durable as possible. Quite a different looking asymmetrical lacing system on the Tomir 2, so that's to try and offer the foot some extra support, but also to try and alleviate any rubbing or irritation caused by pressure points. So the laces don't run down the center of that upper, they kind of pull off to one side. I actually tried them on indoors just to check them for sizing. I was really surprised with how secure and how well this upper locked down because of this lacing system. So really interested to test that out on today's run. The tongue design is gusseted into that upper, and at first it looks like it's going to be really thin and under padded, but NNormal have actually worked in this strip of padding down the center, so that should improve comfort as I pull those laces down nice and tight across the top of my foot. And then finishing up, we've got a good level of padding around the ankle collar and in the heel. We've got some overlays around the lace eyelets and actually wrapping around the whole shoe, again just for a bit of substance and durability. And then we've got a good level of protection up front from an added toe bumper. Moving down the shoe to the midsole construction, and NNormal have utilised an X-Pure foam midsole. This has been specifically engineered for trail running, and the brand claim that the weight has been reduced and the cushioning has been increased this time round. Obviously, it's my first time today running in the Tomir model, so it's going to be impossible for me to tell if that is the case. And then flipping them over to reveal that impressive looking outsole design that I've already mentioned. I love the fact they've gone for this bright green colorway on the outsole. It looks super cool, but there you have it, the new and improved Tomir 2.0 trail running shoe from NNormal. But the more I've talked about the construction, the more I've held the shoe, the more excited I've got about testing these out. So I'm off to get changed, I'm going to grab the cameras, and we'll see you guys in Tehidy Woods. Well, we have a glorious afternoon here in Cornwall. I've got the Sun God sunglasses on, blue sky, and the sun has come out to play. Although I am surprised how wet and muddy it still is here in the woods. I suppose with all the shelter and shade from the trees, it hasn't quite dried out yet. So not ideal conditions for my nice shiny shoes, but brilliant underfoot conditions to test out a new trail shoe. As far as the fit of the new Tomir 2.0 goes, when I tried them on indoors, just to check the sizing, it felt like the shoe was true to size in my normal UK 9.5. Now I've got running in them, we're about 4 miles into the run, my feet have expanded a bit. I am quite close to the end of the shoe on my slightly longer right foot. I think it'd be fine for, you know, shorter runs, maybe up to half marathon. But if I was going longer, especially for ultra distance, I think I might want to go up half a size to a UK 10. So I think they do come up just a little bit small. But apart from that, the shoe is fitting me really well. So that asymmetric lacing system is hugging my midfoot well. I've got a really good lockdown, nice hold in the heel, and the upper feels nice and comfortable around the ankle collar and nice and breathable as well. So like I said, we're 4.3 miles in. We're going to try and get a nice sort of steady 8 to 9 miles in the legs. Everything's steady at the moment because I'm just taking it easy, keeping the legs ticking over, because not this weekend, but the weekend after, I am going to be taking on Centurion South Downs Way 100. So we're keeping it really easy, doing lots of recovery, rolling, massaging, eating well, trying to keep hydrated, because you know, I haven't taken on the 100-mile distance for a long time and I'm feeling slightly nervous, but the training has gone well up to now, so touch wood, everything's going to go well come the weekend. But we better crack on and get these miles done. Okay, we are heading back to the adventure bus and I'm just about to tick over 8 miles. So run's going well, body feels good, legs feel strong, all good signs for the 100 miler in a week's time. And the shoe's performing well. Like I mentioned earlier, as I've gone on in a run, I definitely think a UK 10 would have been a better fit, especially for the longer stuff. No issues, not caused me any problems, but I feel the further I went, the more likely it is to cause me issues. So I definitely think they size up a little bit small. As far as the midsole cushioning goes, I'd say, you know, it's not a super soft bouncy shoe, comfortable underfoot, but on the firmer side, and it actually feels very similar to the midsole on the Norda 001, and that midsole took a bit of time to bed in, and then I actually really enjoyed the level of sort of comfort and cushioning it gave me. So maybe it'll be the same with these. They just need a few miles to soften up and bed in. Okay, we're gonna get this last mile done in the woods. Then we're gonna head back to the studio and we'll wrap the video up with a quick conclusion on this new trail running shoe from NNormal. What an awesome day for a run in the woods. I think it's always great when the sun rays are breaking through the trees, and it makes the woods seem even more magical than they do anyway. Also, it was pretty windy out there today, so all those big trees gave me good protection from the elements, but my legs felt good, the shoes performed well, so all in all, it was a positive run. Lots of things that I enjoyed about the shoes on today's run, and a couple of things I'm not fully convinced by, but let's start with midsole performance, and they handled a big mix of terrain pretty good out there today, and we literally had every type of underfoot conditions you can think of. So we had tarmac sections, we had gravelly trails, we had stony paths, we had woodland trails with lots of tree roots, compacted trails, and we also had quite a few sections of mud, which did come as quite a big surprise. But the Tomir 2.0 soaked all of that up with ease. What I would say is if you're buying a pair of these to get your hands on a soft, bouncy, deeply cushioned pair of trail shoes, then you might be disappointed, because they're definitely not that. But it did offer me a good level of comfort, protection and connection, but I wouldn't call this midsole soft and bouncy. Obviously, this really well designed, vibrant, mega grip, light base rubber outsole performed really well in some pretty tricky conditions, if I'm honest. So there was lots of compacted trails, lots of dry, loose trails, but every now and again I'd hit a section that had been sheltered by the trees and it was sitting really wet and muddy, and this chunky, aggressive 5mm lug did really well when it comes to traction in that mud, and obviously the Vibram rubber gave me great levels of grip. So I personally think this is probably one of the most versatile trail running shoe outsoles on the market at the moment, and this can definitely handle all year round running in the UK. The upper fabric felt nice and breathable out there on today's run. Now, the sun was out and I know it looked great on camera, but it still wasn't that warm. However, as I ran through the woods, the fabric felt like it was giving me good airflow, so I think they could handle hotter conditions pretty good. As far as the tongue design, that thin bit of padding that NNormal have worked into that thin tongue worked really well, so it gave me nice levels of comfort across the top of my foot as I pulled those laces down tight, and for me, just the right level of padding around that ankle collar and in the heel cup. The only real negative I had as far as this upper is concerned is about halfway through the run, these laces did work loose and I was slipping and sliding around a bit inside the shoe. Obviously, I stopped off, retied those laces, pulled them down a bit tighter, and that solved the issue and stopped any in-shoe slippage. However, by the end of the run, they had worked loose again, and you know, this is one of my pet hates when it comes to trail running shoes. You know, one, the faff of having to stop and retie your laces all the time, but also you really do start to lose that sort of secure, precise lockdown in the shoe, and that can really be a negative thing when it comes to stability when you're running on technical trails, but it can also lead to sort of irritation and blisters. And lastly, I mentioned it a couple of times out there on the run, I think the Tomir 2.0 does size a little bit small. Now, it is borderline, it's very, very close, but I think if I was doing any longer runs, especially ultra distance, I'd want to go up half a size. I think this is slightly exaggerated because the toe box is quite shallow and we've got that added protection from a toe bumper. So by the time I got back to the adventure bus at the end of the run, both my big toes were feeling a little bit sore. No blisters or anything serious like that, just a little bit sore. And you know, obviously this isn't a shoe issue. I just think I need to go up half a size. So there you have it, folks, my initial thoughts on the latest version of the Tomir trail running shoe from NNormal. Really enjoyed today's run and the shoes performed well, but it wasn't one of those first impression runs where I get all excited about how the shoes felt and performed. I personally think it's probably one of those trail shoes that just needs a bit of time to bed in and soften up, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing. Once I've got the South Downs 100 out of the way and my legs are recovered, we're going to be getting a lot more miles in these, and then I'll be back on the channel with a full in-depth review. And on that note, it brings another first impressions video here at the channel to an end. Really hope you found it helpful. I also hope you enjoyed coming on that gorgeous run around Tehidy Woods. It really is a beautiful place to train and a great place to test out new trail shoes. I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. So if you've got your hands on a pair of the new Tomir 2.0s, how are you getting on with them? How is the shoe performing? And also, when you opened up the shoe box, did it give you this funny kind of medical smell? You know, it smelled like the shoes had come straight out of a hospital. But anyway, let us know all about it in the comments below. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. It's really appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as it really is a big help to the channel. We'll be back here soon. And as always, stay safe and keep on running. Oops, sorry camera, slightly misjudged that run through.